Many woodworking projects call for making patterns, and we'll use those patterns to make multiple copies of a particular part. In some articles, you may actually find full-size patterns, and those can be printed on a printer. They can be joined together to form a full pattern. But in some, all you get is a gridded pattern, and now you have to convert that gridded pattern to something large enough to use. The process is easy. Let me show you how to do it. To enlarge that gridded pattern, you've got a couple of options. You can buy gridded paper. You could also use plain paper and mark square boxes on that, in this case 1-inch squares. Or, I found on some wrapping papers, the outside looks pretty nice, but the inside has actually got a 1-inch gridded pattern. It's the perfect way to enlarge these plans. So, in general, all I'm interested in is getting the overall length of a particular pattern and its width. And once I lay those out, now it's working on these angle lines, this gentle arch in the middle, and the rounded edges on 3 corners. So here's how you do that on a new blank sheet. So the first part of my plan calls for the overall length. And in this case, it's 27 7/8. So I'm going to start over here. And I want to do this at the end of one of these squares and make my mark there. And here. Now I know that the bottom edge of this plan, or the top edge of this plan, is straight all the way across here. So all I need to do is pick a straight line from one end all the way to the other. So I'm going to come up to the top of the second box. And again, we're at 27 7/8, so that's to this end. I know that both of these ends are 90 degrees, so I can just extend those lines. So those give me the outside edges. And now lastly, I know that this section is also straight and its height is 5.5. So all I need to do is measure up 5.5 boxes. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5. And I can come down here arbitrarily and do the same thing. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5. And we'll connect those lines. Now to be able to make the pattern to where we have the straight line here, and then this straight line all the way to that end, all I care about is where that line's intersection finally is. And on this particular pattern, again, if we count the boxes, these are the full boxes now. I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 is where this actually makes that intersection. So again, measuring across the top, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So there it is. From our point here, and I know that this begins to go down here, I want to cut to my first point on this angle that again crosses the intersection of a box. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's at this point where it's going to cross a box. And then lastly, I know that this line is straight all the way to the end except for this radius. But again, to extend that line, I want to try and find another point where this line touches the intersection of a box. So again, from this line is straight all the way, but I want to find a spot where there's that intersection because then I can just extend that line. So from this edge, or from this point, I want to come down 1 box and over 9. So I'll come down 1 box and then say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and a hash mark here. Now actually, using this line from here to here gives us our point all the way across. So all I need to do is measure from that point to these points, right there, there, and there. And draw my line. So now I've got this angle. This little corner is going to have a slight little radius on it. So in here we notice that the point that it begins to turn is up 1, 2, almost 3 boxes. So we're at 1, 2, almost 3 boxes. And in from this edge is about a half down into that box. So now to do that curve, all we need to do is extend this line this way. The same is true at each one of these corners. All we would do is repeat that process. These are a little bit broader. So again, I'm going to check for the first place that I need to move these. So again, we're just going to count these boxes. We're going to come over and put a line 1 box over and halfway down here. And 1 box over and 1, 2.5 squares there. And here's our last spot. This will be our next radius. Lastly, we'll connect that radius and do the same at this end. And now for the final arch at this end. Again, all we're doing is counting the transition points. So in here, we know that this is where that straight line stops. And again, if I count boxes over, I am 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 boxes over. So again here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 boxes over. So this is my transition point. So I know that from this edge over, my pattern's straight, and that does show there. And now from the first place that this starts to go up and crosses another transition point is up 1 box and over 1, 2, 3. So I come up 1 box and over 1, 2, 3. So here's my next transition point. Now I want the middle. So I'm going to check, and this one crosses the middle of this box. This one is up 1.5. Let's just say 1 box, and we're coming over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then up a half. So we're coming up 1 box, and we're coming over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and it's about halfway up that box right here. And finally, and we can do another transition point here, where from that line, we are coming 1, 2, 3, 4. So from here, we're coming back down and we're going 1, 2, 3, 4. There's another transition point. And then finally, the very end. And we can work from the right-hand side this time, and we'll count across. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 boxes that way. So here we are, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here's our transition point. Now there's our arch. And if you feel comfortable just doing it by hand, you're fine. If not, you can further break down each one of these boxes by a half or a third, continue making transition points until you finally come up with that smooth line. And that's how you make a change from a gridded pattern to a full-size pattern. Now that you've got the pattern complete, I would use spray adhesive and attach this to 1/4-inch tempered hardboard. Once I've cut it out, I have a perfect way to create identical copies every time.